volume, but like deeper, like
a man.
It might be second puberty.
Man.
Man.
Well, as far as I know, I'm not doing it on purpose. I didn't do anything.
Sure, we all know you got one of those like voice mod programs.
Sometimes it happens if you swallow a frog or a robot bee.
A robot bee.
Yeah.
We just hit Zul and NORADs. GG, let's go.
Is there a plate where that is haste mastery stat priority?
I am. Those are my stats, but
DPS preferred?
Close,
Yeah,
but
Rex
no.
can do haste master.
I don't need haste.
I got wrist already, so I mean I can. If somebody else needs it, the red paladin needs it. Give them. Or sell it on the black market.
Sorry, you can keep explaining the boss. I'll just get this done.
Okay. All right. So this is Zul, and he has ads in this fight. As you can see right there, he starts with those 3 ads. So those are the 3 different types of ads that there's going to be. There's Nazmani Crushers, which is that big thick lady there. There's the Blood Hexer, which is the caster, and there are 2 Bloodthirsty Krogs. So the Crusher is going to cleave, so unless you're tanking her, don't be in front of her. She's also going to cast Thrumming of Pulse at 100 energy. We usually want to kill her before 100 energy, but if she gets it off, she's going to buff the boss and any enemies within 30 yards of her. So again, we want to kill her before that happens. The Blood Hexer casts Blood Shard, which does a lot of damage to whoever has the least amount of health in the raid. It can be interrupted and it should be interrupted. So if you've got an interrupt and you see her casting Blood Shard, interrupt it, please. The caster also summons a little blood blob, which is going to attempt to reach Zul. And if it does, it's going to heal him. So when that blood blobs out, we need to kill that. And then finally, the Krogs, those little guys, they self-destruct at 100 energy for a lot of raid damage. And obviously we need to kill them before that happens. So they've all got energy, and we need to interrupt them before they reach 100.
So in what order do we need to kill them?
I'm going to say it's going to be the Crusher first, and then the... Actually, does the Hexer do anything when she reaches 100 energy?
She probably glows.
Yeah, the Crusher, when it reaches 100 energy, it gives a like 50% damage buff for 40 seconds to anyone caught in its radius.
Oh yeah, that's the big lady. The Hexer, does she do anything?
The only thing she does is creates the Ichor that will travel towards Zul and heal him. So, I mean, if we can just basically interrupt the Blood Shard and keep the Ichor from reaching Zul, we'd be good to leave her up till last.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. So we'll kill the big lady first, and then the 2 little Krogs, or 3 Krogs, and then we'll kill the Hexer. Okay, moving on. Players are going to get randomly targeted with a debuff called Dark Revelation. It explodes with damage after 10 seconds, and I believe it damages the whole raid. Anyone with this debuff, Dark Revelation, needs to run toward the edge of this platform that we're going to fight him on and wait for it to fall off. When it does fall off, it's going to summon minions of Zul, which, if you've done King's Rest, they're those tiny little Shah guys who fear you. The trick with these guys is that they can be mass dispelled by a priest, and luckily we have 2 priests. So if a priest casts mass dispel on them, it just kills them, the whole group of them. However, if priest misses it or mass dispel, does mass dispel have a cooldown?
Yes.
Okay, what is the cooldown?
45-second cooldown.
Okay, I'm not sure of the frequency of this, so if our priests don't have mass dispel up, we will have to target those ads with range. You don't want to do it if you're melee because you might get feared. When they reach their target, they're going to target someone random. When they reach them, they're going to AoE fear.
Well, I don't think we need to worry about the minion of Zul because even if both Jay and I's mass is off on cooldown, we've got dispel magic, which we can just kill them one by one with that. So
Arcane Torrent also works.
Yeah, Arcane Torrent will kill every one of them.
I see a lot of blood elves, so use your racial.
Oh. Blood elves, not superior Nightborn. I can slow them.
Arcane Torrent, you have to get kind of close to them, so it'd just be easier to do a offensive purge on them.
Okay, that's good. I forgot about the dispel magic. I was thinking you only had mass dispel for some reason. So we really shouldn't need any DPS switching to the minions of Zul.
Also, Nerdle, do not spell steal them.
Does it give me something bad?
You get their shield buff, which is kind of nice, but once that shield buff falls off or times out, you die.
I was wondering what would happen if we made
I'm glad you told me because I definitely would have done it.
Yeah, I had a mage do that in King's Rest, and he was like, "So, tip for the future: don't spell steal those."
No, I spell steal. Is that why I've been dying in King's Rest?
Probably.
Because I've been doing it all the time in King's Rest.
Yeah, that would be
That's
why.
funny.
I wonder if I can ice block it.
Doubt it. I think it's just when you lose that buff, you die.
Okay, so that comes from Dark Revelation. Again, that's a debuff that you're going to get when you get it. Run to the outside edge, and when it falls off, it's going to spawn the minions of Zul, who the priest will take care of. There's another spell called Shadow Barrage. It's an unavoidable damage. It just targets someone random. You can't do anything to prevent it. So throughout the whole fight, the boss himself has his own energy bar. And when he reaches 40%, it's going to transition to phase 2. And when he transitions, it's going to apply corrupted blood, which is like a disease, on the entire raid. It's going to do 1 stack for every 5 energy that he had. So we want to get him to the next phase as quickly as possible because that means we have less corrupted blood to deal with. And corrupted blood lasts throughout the rest of the fight after 40%. In phase 2, he's going to cast a cone attack called Rupturing Blood. That's just what the tanks have to deal with. Just don't be in front of the boss if you're not a tank. After 20 seconds, the tank needs to run to the edge when the debuff is about to drop off from Rupturing Blood.
Did I DC or did he stop talking?
He stopped talking.
Sorry, my headset is also connected to my phone, and I got a phone call, so it switched me over to that, and then it started playing music on my computer. That was annoying. Okay, anyway, the tank gets Rupturing Blood. They need to run it to the edge. It's going to leave this little pool of blood on the edge where the tank drops it, and anyone who steps in it is going to get more corrupted blood on them, so just don't step in blood pools. And finally, the most interesting mechanic of this fight is during the second phase, he's going to cast Death Wish on random players. Death Wish is going to force you to walk toward the edge and jump off. I believe it's a magic debuff, and when it gets dispelled, it will do raid-wide damage, and then it's also going to summon more of those minions of Zul. So we don't want to dispel people in the middle of the raid when they're walking toward the edge. We need to wait for them to get out toward the edge a little bit before we dispel them so that the priests have time to kill the ads.
Also,
It's
do
kind
you
of
know
a cheap trick.
on normal, is it just one death wish or is there two at the same time?
From what I read, I think it depends on the size of your raid, so I'm not sure where 18 falls in there.
Okay, because I know with if we get two at the same time, instead of taking a whole bunch of burst damage right there, we can just leap of faith one of the death wish targets back while we dispel the other to kind of give us healers a little bit of breathing room for that raid damage.
Okay, that'd be great. This is where the priests shine, I guess.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to this fight the whole time.
I just started playing Priest a week ago.
What's the mechanic that spawns more ads? Because I know they spawn throughout the encounter. Or is it just random?
Are you talking about the one that you got to spell?
Call of
No.
Blood.
No. The like he'll call more hexers. Like because at one
The
point.
hexers create the animated Iker.
What he's talking
but
about is Zul's ability, Call of Blood, which brings in more of the Crushers or the Hexers or the Krogs.
Yeah, because then with the hexers, you can't have two of them stand next to each other.
Yeah,
'Cause
so if
you
we get
can get two at a
two
time.
Hexers, we'll need to CC one while we kill the other.
Yeah. Like polymorph, like any of the hard CC works on them.
Yeah, so we can keep one of them away, tank the other one away from the boss, and tank the boss away from both of them.
And that's Hexers.
Yeah, that's the Hexers.
Yeah, they can't be next to each other.
Otherwise, they'll basically fuck the whole fight up and heal everything.
I got like two things. One, the rupturing blood, the frontal cleave. That's the tank swap, right? Because you have the tank has to go off to the edge.
Yeah, corrupted blood, or no, rupturing
blood.
blood.
Debuff expires, the tank's gonna create a pool. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be away from the raid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be a tank swap. So then on the first phase, how are we splitting up the ads?
I'm kind of wondering that myself. So I think during the first phase, we just need one tank on Zul the whole time, right? Because there's no tank swapping until the second phase.
I don't think he does anything but just hit lightly. I think from what I'm seeing here, it looks like maybe the Crusher and Zul may be taken together because the Hexer needs to be 10 to 15 yards away from Zul.
I would say if the Crusher dies before she gets her cast off, they can be tanked together. But if she starts casting, Zul has to GTFO.
Okay. All right, so yeah, we'll tank the big lady next to Zul, and we're gonna target her first anyway. So hopefully she'll be dead.
Yeah, and then if she just gets close to max energy, just move her out or something to stop her from buffing everybody.
Okay. Let's say, do we have
and then the Crusher
DPS that could just like taunt somebody away?
Max, he's supposed to be moved away too as well, right? Because he does that buff too as well.
Who does?
The Crusher. So when he gets max energy, he casts like Thrumming Pulse, which increases the damage by Zul and his minions.
Yeah.
30
Yeah, that's what we're saying. They can be tanked together unless she starts getting her cast off.
Except the one thing is because we're gonna be cleaving them all at the beginning, right? So if her energy's getting close to that point where she's gonna cast that, but she's low and so is the Hexer, you could just let her get the buff and then just they would just die shortly after.
Oh, you're saying tank the Crusher and the Hexer together?
Yeah.
Okay. Boomtree is saying in chat that the video he just watched, they just AoE grip them all together on top of Zul for the first bolt, which might be something to try too.
Yeah, that's fine, but like who gets? Yeah, I mean, like we need to see who has aggro on which. Does that?
I don't think that'll matter.
It'll matter.
I don't think it'll matter. I don't think they'll hit hard enough.
As long as a DPS doesn't have aggro.
Yeah, as long as the DPS does. If you guys don't have to do a tank swap, I don't think it'll matter. I don't think they're gonna hit that hard, but I could be wrong.
All right. Babelis, how about you pick up Zul and I'll pick up the Crusher and I'll tank her right next to Zool. Or we could just tank them all in the middle, and if we need to pull some out, then we'll try and do it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay, so let's just give it a try. Remember, we're going to kill Skull, and then we're going to kill the tiny Krogs, and then we're going to kill the Hexer, but they're all going to be grouped up on top of each other, so hopefully go down at the same time. Other than that, if you get Dark Revelation, remember to move it to the edge of the platform and wait for it to fall off when the minions of Zool will spawn. And then you can move back in.
Do we want to have a particular area where we're going to get dispelled for those things that we got to dispel?
As close to the edge as possible.
I know, but like pretty big platform with a lot of edges.
Well, once you get the Death Wish debuff.
Well, no, not Death Wish. It's the other one.
Oh, we're gonna need to spread it around the edge, don't we? Or no, it's just the tank one. Yeah, it might actually be a good idea to mark a place to go debuff.
Okay, I'm not sure how many people are going to get that debuff at a time, so I put down a blue and a moon. So just head to one of those.
Yeah, just so the priests know where the general area the guys are going to spawn.
Okay, I'll cover
Boom Tree says
if you get blue.
We'll just start with blue, and if it's more than that, we can change it in the middle of the fight. Okay, we'll just give this a try because this is a complicated fight, and we'll learn on the fly. Pulling in 10 seconds. And I got the crusher.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come, fools! I've already seen your end!
Alright, take down the Blood Hexer.
It went down quickly.
I think Dark Revelation is up.
The power of God will be your doom! Arise, my chosen! In blood, we shall conquer!
We're going to these Krogs, yeah?
You got next mass.
Gotcha. Someone got the we got a Hexer over here.
Rise from my blood to crush the weak!
2 Hexers.
Okay, one's down.
Got a
Crusher.
Alright, focus that anchor, everyone.
The power of God!
Stun it, CC it, don't let it get to the boss.
Feed upon the unfaithful!
Nice, legs works.
Alright, focus the crusher. It's almost like 100 energy of movement.
Through blood, we shall conquer!
Boss got buffed.
It's the big circle that was around the crusher.
Yeah, I was trying to pull her away, but she just stood there. Cast.
Another hex. There's a.
I'm 16.
Sorry, everyone.
To crush the weak!
Let's get a laser up.
Power of God will be your
I didn't mean to talk it, sorry.
feed upon the unfaithful!
We got the 3 guys over here.
I killed Dads.
There's one more.
Make her highest priority.
Almost 100 on the crusher.
Do we have a B-res?
No.
Arise,
Nope.
my son. Through blood, we shall conquer. The power of your womb will be your doom. Rise from my blood.
Okay, let's go ahead and
Crush the weak. Come,
just jump off the edge if you're close to it.
feed upon the unfaithful.
That was much more chaotic than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, those ads come in really fast.
It was like real slow at first, and then it just.
And
We
why
probably
does he
need-
get to?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, why does he get to endlessly resurrect people and we don't?
I wonder if we have a dedicated ad tank, if they could just handle it. If they could just go around getting all the ads. Because, I mean, it seems like we burn the crusher fast enough. So if we just have them so we can just cleave them all down, and then we won't have to worry about her buffing. Or if she does buff, at least we're AoEing them all down real quick. And we just don't want the boss to get buffed.
Yeah, I was trying to pick up the ads, but
You want to switch? Because I mean, like Zool, he needs to be tanked. It's just that you just need to be. We just have to have somebody there to whatchamacallit, take it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it may be a little bit easier for me to AoE, like grab people with my shield and all that kind of stuff and whatnot.
that's what I was going to ask is, do we have to tank Zool? Does he cast anything if there's not a tank near him?
I don't know.
Because if you've got aggro, we could both be running around picking up ads.
Good question. Yeah.
I mean, all it says for his first phase is that he just spams an uninterruptible like AO or hit on each player on players randomly. So it's really this whole first phase is the ads.
Yeah, and he enters the second phase at a certain health percentage, right?
40.
Yeah, 40.
So if we're constantly dealing with ads, how do we
Yeah,
get
that's
him
the
down
thing.
to that
It's
point?
like we don't need to tank him, but we need to get him down to phase 2. So the idea is to get the ads best as possible around him, so that we're killing ads, but also dealing damage to him, so he gets to phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just not worry about him, and then just go have us on ad duty.
I would say it seemed like we were killing the Crusher fast enough. We can probably just tank the Crusher and Zool together and be able to cleave onto Zool.
Yeah, probably the only ad you don't want nearby is the hex. Besides the initial hexer, probably the hexers that spawn. You probably want.
Yeah, because you want some room to kill the Icker
So,
ad.
since you can do, so do you want to tank the Crusher and Zool, and I'll just go around and get the hexers and the doggies?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Also, we need to be better with the interrupts on the hexers, because I know that's what killed me, is they got a blood shard off and basically took me from like 50% to nothing.
They cast them actually really fast, so I don't know that we're going to get every single one of them.
Yeah, they do, but it's the only interrupt in the entire fight. There's no other interrupt. That's the only ad that needs to be interrupted.
Okay.
So, like all DPS, that should be top priority is interrupting that.
Cool. Didn't mean to get on you.
All right. Yeah.
You need intellect?
Yeah, intellect, and then I can't get off you. I gotta do what leave vehicle / leave vehicle.
You just get a druid mount now. Okay, so I'll pick up Zool and the Crusher, or are you getting the Crusher?
Yeah, no, you get those two, and I'll get the hexer and the doggies.
Okay, I switched my talent for that ox statue, so hopefully if there's just random things running around, it'll pick them up and bring them to the middle.
Yeah, especially the Krogs. They could just be basically AoE down anyway.
Yeah, those things were running everywhere.
Yeah.
Fight as one.
Yeah, I'll wrangle.
All right, let's give it another try.
Need arcane.
Can we get arcane?
5,
Nardle.
4, 3,
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
1.
Come, fools! I've already seen your end!
I'm pressure everyone.
Oh, blob thing.
Yep, get it.
Stun.
As
I got the first one, Jay.
Dark Revelation critters.
Arise, my children! Through blood, we shall conquer!
I just realized you can see where the ads are going to spawn from the side.
yeah, the little blood pool.
We got two of the extras coming up.
Rise from my
I'm gonna CC the one over here.
crush the weak!
CC was broke.
Set him
Alright.
apart.
Yeah, I'm CCing again.
Crusher's up. Focus the crusher.
Get that crusher.
Jay, that's you.
There's the
Got
blood
it.
up.
Animated.
Icar stun.
Crusher is getting close to 100 energy.
Finish that crusher.
She's gonna cast it.
Arise, my children! Through blood, we shall conquer! Rise from my blood!
Two hexers.
Crush the weak!
CCing one.
Easy, bro.
Feed
Got him again.
upon the unfaithful! The power of Gahul
Crusher's up.
will be your doom!
I got this one, Jay.
Gotta keep the Hexer CC'd.
Why does it keep breaking?
Yeah, I was going to kill it. Were we waiting to CC in it?
Icar.
Don't let that blood reach the bottom.
He's casting it.
Arise, my children! Through blood, we shall conquer!
These hexers are still on the ground.
What's up? Another Icar.
Feed upon the unfaithful!
Hexer
Rise
on.
from my
CCing.
blood to crush the weak! The power of Gahul will be your doom!
Alright, you're gonna take out the hexers first. Oh, Crusher is up. Never mind, switch to her. Crusher in the middle.
Alright, let's get this hexer down.
Arise, my chosen! Through blood, we shall conquer! Come, brethren! Feed upon the unfaithful! The power of Gahul will be your doom!
Jay, get Blood Reaper.
Where's that? Oh shit.
Rise from my blood to crush the weak!
There's another hexer on this side.
Crusher coming up.
Killer, she's in the middle.
Over the food.
Let's get this Hector.
Feed upon the unfaithful. Arise, my chosen. Through the power of Gahul will be your doom.
One is CC'd.
Rise from my blood. Crush the weak.
There's one CC still.
There he is.
Coming up.
Crusher. Focus the Crusher.
Got blood.
The power of God.
Jay, you got moved.
Upon the unfaithful. Arise, my chosen.
Crusher's at 75 in.
We shall conquer.
Get the Crusher. You get the Hexer. One is sheeped.
Rise from my blood. Crush the weak. The power of God. Brethren, feed upon
got
the
this one, Jay.
unfaithful.
Crusher's up.
Boss is almost at 40.
Alright, let's transition.
Tremble before
Let's get these guys down.
Oh, bloody blood.
we witness your end and despair.
Okay, let's flick.
Well, it's chaotic.
It is.
Why don't we when the Crusher comes up, why don't we take that to a Hexer, then just cleave them down together?
Yeah, take it away from the boss, because that's really all you got to do is keep it away from the boss within a certain amount of yards, so that buff doesn't buff the boss.
Well, I meant just like, because we get the Crusher, we get the Hexer, and it's like we prioritize the Crusher, but then when the Hexer puts a blob, we prioritize the blob, so we're going back and forth. So why don't we just put those two together away from the boss? We can nuke him down real quick and then spend more time DPSing the boss.
That sounds good to me.
One thing we need to make sure we're doing is that like actually kill the things. We like get Crusher as priority, kept getting called out, and then the Hexers were being left, and they were spawning one more blood, and they were at like 3% health because everybody peeled off of it.
Well, if we're tanking the Crusher and the Hexer together, then that won't be an issue.
It's probably just like blood is greater than Crusher is greater than Hexer, and if they're all three there, you'll see a blood spawn. And then once we kill one Hexer, we'll just take everything over to the second Hexer, because the second Hexer would be polymorph.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let's keep the Crusher. Whenever Crusher's up, let's move him to a Hexer. The other thing I'm thinking is, it really doesn't seem like Zul needs a tank on him, because he just is casting on random people.
Yeah, he shouldn't until 40%.
Okay, so maybe one of the tanks will get aggro for whatever reason, just throw something on him, and then we can both be moving around, maybe. And then another thing we need to think about is that by the time Zul got to 40%, his energy was 100%, which means we got something like, what would that be, 20 stacks of the disease, 10 stacks? Can't math right now. 20 stacks.
So we took too long.
Yeah. So we might need to think about assigning 2 or 3 DPS on him, like just to stay on it.
How bad's the last phase? Like, does he stay in that second phase until he's dead?
Yeah. And I don't think it's as bad because the ads stop spawning, I think.
What about lusting in the first phase then? Just to nuke ads quicker?
That's probably the best strategy. Because the faster he gets to 40%, then the less stacks of the disease we're going to have us on the rest of the fight.
I mean, of course, it wouldn't be like with these because we nuke these really quick, but like when they start really popping up, just lust it up and burn them down.
Yeah.
So the idea that we're going to kill the Crusher, like, not this part, but like as they spawn, like if there's a Crusher, if there's a Crusher existing and there's like Hexers that spawn, we're going to CC one and then we're going to bring the Crusher over to the Hexer, nuke it down that way. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna hopefully AOE nuke them all down, but yeah, like Crusher would be priority. And then if a blood did spawn, you would see it right there. So then we could stun it, keep it from moving, and still nuke AOE all them down together.
Gotcha.
Also, I don't know if anybody else has any displacements, but there was a couple times where I'd use Shining Force to knock the blood back away from the boss, so we can do that too in last resort.
Yeah, I've been using leg sweep on them. It works as well.
Okay. So we're going to combine them to cleave, and I'm going to put 2 DPS on the boss at all times. And since Moisty is a Death Knight who has no mobility, I'll put her there.
I do pretty good running around though, so it doesn't have to be.
Well, we'll put you there anyway. So Moisty on the boss, and I need one other person. We'll go Aleza. I'll keep my newts on DPS specifically because he's got a lot of damage, or a lot of burst. Okay, so Moisty and Aleza on Zul the whole time. Everyone else, we're going to group up the Crusher on the Hexer whenever possible and cleave them down. And, yeah, can we get Bell Shout in the buffs? We'll take a break after this. All right. Pulling in 10.
5, 4.
What are we lost in this?
2.
I've already seen your
Let's save it for now. Well, let's just fight too. Oh, get that blood up.
Push back.
upon the unfaithful! The power of Gohu will be yours. Arise, my children. Blood,
Dogs incoming.
we shall conquer.
Just burst the dogs down in the middle. Okay, Hexer's.
Rise from my blood to crush the weak.
Aim crush. Focus that crusher down.
Feed upon the unfaithful. Power will be your doom.
Jay, get that one.
Got it.
Arise, my chosen. Through blood, we shall conquer.
I got this one. Take out the tank.
Crush the weak.
Need a repolymorph on the other one.
Got it.
Crusher's up.
The key's breaking.
Gonna anchor right at the boss.
Get that blood away from boss.
Arise, my chosen. Through blood, we shall conquer.
Get this crusher down, guys.
There's an eco. Get another crusher, guys.
Crush the weak.
I can
Anchor
bark.
coming in the boss.
Will be your doom.
Another
There's a
crusher.
Hexer right by the boss. Now there's an Ico right by the boss. Oh shit, he got it.
I think more like it's working.
Like everything's been boss.
Arise, my chosen. Through blood.
Okay.
Are you sure we can't? We can get away with not having a tank on Zool?
Yeah, I don't know if he was doing anything, but as soon as I left, I wanted to go back, but I had a crusher on me.
I got super meleeed by something.
Yeah, he's
Have you
still
left?
melee
Yeah.
hits. I'm pretty sure. I think you have to have a tank there.
Okay, yeah, I'll stay on him.
Like I melted.
I suppose even if the boss isn't attacking me, then the Krogs are still gathering there. I'm attacking the melee.
Yeah, I think they just have to. Yeah, bringing it out, like, yeah, it just you really gotta figure out how to manage these ads. I think once we figure that out, it's GG.
Okay, let's take a quick 10-minute break. Get up, stretch your legs, and we'll come back and work on this guy some more.
Fortune to our friends.
So, real quick, I'm looking at the damage logs. He's only doing, Zol himself is only doing Shadow Barrage and the dot from Shadow Barrage. That's the only damage that's going out from him, period. So,
Okay,
it's,
so
it's
it's
not,
not
he's not meleeing anybody, like,
Okay.
So what's the other stuff?
and, like, right before we pulled, I was listening to the video again, the blood hexers are supposed to be the priority target because of the bloods. Like, we have to burn those
That's
down
what it
fast.
feels like after these last few attempts. It just the hexers are what are getting us. It's just
Like, The
Okay.
only thing the Crusher does is buff all the other ads, and as long as it's pulled away out of range, it doesn't matter. And as soon as it casts its thing, it can be brought wherever it needs to be. The hexers are supposed to be the absolute priority target.
All right, yeah, that feels good because when the Crushers put off their buff, it really, even if it buffs some mobs, it's not that big of a deal. It
As long
definitely
as it
feels like the
doesn't
Hexers are
boss.
worse. Yeah. Okay, so we'll take a 10-minute break and then we'll come back and focus on the Hexers next time.
Didn't we one-shot Zekvaz yesterday, guys?
Yeah.
Rated R just wiped on him.
I think we one-shotted everything except Mother. And Vectus.
Fight!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I did. Seemed pretty straightforward watching it.
Yeah. So it does look like we need one boss on Zool and then tank the Crusher on her or on him. And then when she gets to 80 energy, just pull her away and let her cast her thing and bring her back.
Sounds pretty easy.
Yeah. That's not a dude, that's a lady.
Dude looks like a lady.
It's a blood troll, and it's a lady.
She's a thick mama with 2 C's. Okay. So I guess that's how we're going to modify our strategy. I'm going to stay on Zool, and I'll use my statue to bring the Krogs to the center, where they'll just get AoE down when we're on Zool. We can also we don't have to focus the Crusher, because she's going to be tanked next to Zool too. And then when she reaches 80 energy, Vavilus is going to pull her out, let her cast her little buff thing, and then bring her back to die. Then when the Hexers are out, we're going to focus them down. We're going to polymorph one of them like we've been doing, and mark the other one with a Skull Killer, and switch to the other.
Yeah, and be sure to interrupt also.
Yeah, make sure you interrupt Blood Shard from the Hexers, the casters. And you can also stun when they cast Coagulated Blood, which will stop the Ichor from coming out. So if you've got a stun and they're casting Coagulated Blood, use it on them.
If you guys didn't catch it, the second one is going to immediately spawn one of the Bloods, or try to, because they still gather energy while polymorphed.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
Cool.
Okay, ready, check for the poll.
Yeah, no, we lost that poll. I think I didn't hear it last time.
I don't know. What do you guys think? If we lost in the first phase, then he gets to 40% faster and we have less buff or less of the disease. But on the other hand, the damage in the second phase might be worse, and we might want it for that.
Yeah, but isn't it the faster you get through the first phase, the less damage you have in the second?
Yeah.
I think we should worry about the second phase when we actually get to the second phase.
I think we want to lust in phase 1, but maybe not right at the pull.
Okay, like maybe when this first group dies, or what are you thinking?
Probably when the second group of ads pops up.
Well, there's more movement around by then too. Like, that's usually the idea for lusting on the pole, is because there's
more
less
mechanics.
mechanics. Yeah, usually you're not dealing with mechanics by then.
Okay, so we want to lust when the second group comes up, is what you guys are saying?
Isn't the first ads the dogs? So that's kind of...
Maybe when the first blood hexers come up.
Then our damage is kind of separated, right? I don't know. I think
it's just less on pull.
I think it's less on pull. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's list on pull. Okay, everyone was ready. I'm going to pull in 10 seconds.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Everything is as I have foreseen! Upon the unfaithful, the power of Gahul will be
I got this
your
one, Vic.
doom. Arise, my children. In blood, we shall conquer.
Hexer's coming up. Focus the one that doesn't get polymorph.
I'm gonna polymorph the one in blue.
From my blood to crush the weak.
We're going to blue, right?
Yes, kill that other Hexer.
Feed upon the unfaithful. The power of Gahul will be your doom.
Okay, that one's you.
Got it.
Feel that blood coming to the bottom.
Arise, my chosen. Through blood, we shall conquer. Rise from my
Hexer's up.
crush the weak. Come, brethren, feed upon the unfaithful. The power of Gahul will be your doom.
Kill the other Hexer.
In the back.
I'll take this one.
Arise, my chosen. Through blood, we shall conquer.
Hexer's coming up.
Come, brethren. The power of Gahul will be your rise from my
That Hexer might be too close to the target.
crush the weak.
Yeah, way too close.
Kill the Hex, run back.
Another crusher up.
Hexer is more important. Smart the skull.
So 41
Boss is
guys.
up for phase.
Gahul's blood
Kill that blood.
flows through my veins. Tremble before my power.
When you need to move.
Witness your end and despair.
Ripping poison.
You missed me.
Need these mass dispelled.
I got him.
Can we get into the middle? Or no?
You never had
I need a battle rage, please.
Go both things up.
witness your end and despair.
Oh shit.
Pull the other one, pull the other one.
We know when you need to move.
I think not.
Witness your end and despair. You never had a future. Weak, just as I predicted.
Okay, let's swipe. That went pretty well.
Witness your end and despair.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I messed up. I think I like auto dispelled someone in the middle of the room. That kind of created the problem.
The only thing I noticed was that I took too many of the bloods before I realized I had it. The tank debuff.
Is that the one that dropped right in the middle?
Yeah, I think so.
I have many.
Yeah, it's a 20-second debuff regardless. Like, it doesn't renew on stacks. So it's like, you can take a few stacks. I think it's probably about 3. That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, when I got 4, it was... I was casting heals on myself just trying to stay alive, but it was a lot.
So do we think we got phase 1 down where we get lost phase 2?
I don't know. I kind of like lusting in phase 1 because then that's less damage from the disease in phase 2. Plus, nobody's running around right at the beginning of the bowl.
Yeah, I didn't see the percentage, but we got them pretty decent. I mean, I think if we just had
17
in the right spots, yeah.
We didn't, alright, so I messed up phase 2. Because the idea is we're supposed to be in the center, right? So then that way when people, like we were fighting along the edge, so when people were walking to their death, it was like an instant jump versus having
Yeah, that first blood dropping in the middle kind of screwed up phase 2.
So what causes the crap going on the floor?
Dispelling them.
It's a tank debuff, so the tanks get debuffed with it, and before their 20-second mark, they have to run to the corner of a room and drop it there.
Okay.
It only will take up a small part of the corner if they do that. That's kind of like the taunt rotation mechanic.
So should we be stacking behind the boss in the middle then?
No,
so
ideally, everybody should be behind the boss, nobody in front of the boss.
Correct.
The move that he does on the tank, it's a cone.
Okay, other than that, the first phase went really well. I think we've got that pretty well. I think that's what we want to keep doing.
Do you want to set up a marker for have it now, but use it for phase 2, where that way people stand there and then it should be behind the boss, if that makes sense?
Okay.
Just like phase 2, everyone stay here unless you're a tank.
How about right there, the moon? Does that look close enough or far enough?
Is Zool stationary in the center?
Ideally, we're going to put him in the center, yeah.
That might be a little far. Where the hexer's at, probably.
I would say because melee is going to want to be a little bit closer than that.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's just a general direction. It's just so that people don't get hit by the cone. It's not like you have to stand on it. It's more of just a direction.
The general direction makes more sense.
Yeah. It's just so people don't get hit by the cone, and then tanks can do whatever they got to do.
Okay. So as a tank, I'm going to take the blood debuff. I guess kind of bring it straight back to the skull. That's just going to be where I'm going to start aiming.
Flask.
Wait, for what?
For dropping the blood when we get the tank.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Other than that, first phase went really well. I don't have anything to change there. And we will focus on getting to the second phase.
Can we try to get like an initial interrupt on the this first hexer just so we can get all the ads on top of Zool because they were kind of spread during that initial pull.
Yeah, I'll get her. I'll come from
Makes
this
it a little bit tougher.
Okay. All right, pulling in 10.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come, fools! I've already seen your end!
Oh, a great push.
That was.
I got this one. Your doom. Arise, my chosen. In blood, we shall conquer.
Dod's gonna CC the one in blue.
Let's CC in the one near Skull.
Let's kill Skull.
Rise from my blood. Crush the weak.
Remember, you can stun their coagulated blood.
Come, brethren, feed upon the unfaithful. The power of Gohu will be your doom.
Jay, you got that?
Got it.
Arise, my chosen. In blood, we shall conquer.
I got the Hexer blue.
Okay, kill the Hexer Skull.
Rise from my blood. Come, brethren. Feed upon the unfaithful. The power of Gohu will be your doom.
I got this one.
Remember not to be in front of the Crusher. I do a cleave.
We're about to push phases. 4%. DPS off. DPS off. We need to kill these hexers first.
Oh, I see.
Let's shoot the blue.
Try to get your pets off him, please.
I can't shoot.
Transition.
Tremble before my power.
I can't shoot blue.
Kill the Hexer. Don't be in front of Zool.
Witness your end.
Okay. Continue. these ads down, please?
You never had.
Give also.
And me, I think we got Warlock and Risen.
It's gonna be right in the blood.
And despair.
Oh shit.
Just as I predicted.
So much blood.
Witness your end and despair. Weak, just as I predicted.
I think the tanks, I think we might want to switch at 2 stacks.
Accept this offering.
So I'm
Yeah, I
taking
think what
a lot of
happened there
damage
was that a crusher got. I think since we paused on DPS, like a crusher got brought into play, and so I had to taunt, bring it to whatchamacallit, and I didn't realize what stack we were at. Yeah.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles, like you.
But that went well. Again, we just need to, I guess, make sure that there's not too many ads when we transition.
Yeah, I think we gotta have all the hexes, both hexes down on transition. Because we can't be all up on the side, especially with the fears going off.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be quick because it looks like it goes dog, hexers, crusher. So those crushers don't die at least soon enough, and then a crusher's gonna come, which is fine. It's gonna create a situation where one tank's gonna be taking a crusher and Zool at the same time, while the other tank is rid of the debuff. Even more.
Yeah.
I have many, many wares.
All right,
Can we
let's
get more
do
lock
what we
rocks,
just did.
please?
There's one.
Thank you.
All right, pulling in 10.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Everything is as I have foreseen. Arise, my chosen. Through blood, we shall conquer.
I was going to say, see the one in the back.
No, I got the one. Yours. Oh, don't see anything.
To crush the weak.
Alright, DPS.
Feed upon the unfaithful.
this one.
That Hexer down. If you're not DPS, get on, or if you're DPS, get on.
Arise, my children. Through blood, we shall conquer.
Get that crusher.
Hexer's up.
One's marked this.
Rise from my blood. Come, brethren. Feed upon the unfaithful power of the moon. Will be your doom.
Hexer's in 3 seconds. You should hold.
Okay, get off the boss. Get your pets off the boss, too.
We shall conquer.
Oh, that's my bad. Fuck it.
It's alright, we can still recover. Kill the one on blue.
Feed upon the unfaithful power of God. Will be your doom.
You got it, Jay?
Oh, okay, see, I got it.
Rise from my blood to crush the weak.
Alright, as soon as that Hexer's done, let's push the boss.
Start pushing now. Crusher coming.
Alright, just pushing.
Tremble before my power.
Stack up on moon. And get the ads down, please.
Yeah, also.
You can taunt him. I'll switch.
Witness your end and despair.
Everyone behind the box.
Witness your end and despair.
What else? Don't forget your arcane turn if you see little ads coming in.
You never had.
Give Val's up, please.
Here's coming in.
Witness your end and despair. You never had it.
Oh shit.
Let's try and burn him down.
We got this and shit.
And despair.
Oh.
Nicely done.
Good job, guys.
This was not the future I was promised.
Good job, everyone. That was crazy.
Yeah, that just gets out of control.
Warning. Significant
Yeah, that
threat
is
of
one
contamination
hectic ass
beyond
fight.
this point.
I think I pooped a little.
Prevent me from
I'm not
proceeding.
doing anything.
The rest is up to us. We will put an end to Gahun's disease.
Okay, in the future, next time we do this, I think when the tanks switch, I think we need to hang out in the center close to the healers for the first. Because by the time I ran over, I was sitting there for 10 seconds and I had no heals near me and I was dying.
Yeah, I think that's happened to me too. So yeah, I think We still do the tank swap, but just kind of stay close, be cool, and then DPS for a little bit, and then fuck up.
Or do you just want a pocket healer when you go run out?
That could be useful too. We could do
I
it either
mean,
way.
yeah, I was like, if I just have like 3 heals, I'm okay. Because I was like, I died 0.2 seconds before the debuff wasn't about to expire.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is try and get that blood pool as far away so that you probably just send a pocket healer out with you to keep you up.
Yeah, definitely. Because when I was waiting for the blood to drop off, I was just sitting there taking, 40,000 damage a tick.
Yeah, which way we go?
So this thing goes down. By the way, I think it puts us right where the boss spawns almost immediately. So I might want to like run backwards.
Oh, wait, the strike boss.
Going up, or are we going down?
I think we jump in the hole.
Oh.
That looks dangerous.
My timer started going. I thought he was starting the boss.
Yeah, it spawns him pretty much right away.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Jeez.
Okay.
It didn't seem like that far of a fall.
I was saying, like, I hit the ground, still had half health, and then all of a sudden it's gone. I was like, wait a minute.
I feel so betrayed.
I have
Do we just slow fall everybody?
I tried slow fall. It's like a poison down there.
Yeah.
Well,
what's a hard
then
boss?
what do we do?
Good question.
Do we have to wear like gas masks?
Is there another lever to hit?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is there like something else?
Does this place have no ventilation?
Put your nature gear on.
They're in the ventilation shafts.
Are we supposed to?
Hey Jay, can you grip me back up?
Where'd you go?
Well, started the boss.
Oh, so does he start
Suicide.
when we drop down?
No, I heroic leaped.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles, like you.
How'd you guys get to the boss?
We were on
He's
a
just
ledge,
in
like,
this hole.
just inside the ring.
Yeah.
I still
Just
died from the
inside.
ledge.
You want me gripped out of the ledge?
Oh, I'm bringing the elevator back up so we can. The idea is to.
Oh, right.
Very safe, Boom.
Maybe not.
It seems like the boss fight starts when you drop in the hole.
Destruction.
Here, play. Go and jump.
Oh, I died before I hit the ground.
I mean, right where the moon's at, it almost looks like there's an invisible elevator there. But
So what the fuck? What the actual fuck?
Oh, we
I'm
probably
asking
have to
a buddy
kill the
real
other
quick.
bosses first. Is there still one up here?
Yeah, my
I don't
buddy
think
just
so.
said the fight starts when you drop in, so everybody pretty much drops in
Okay.
together.
All right. Well, give me a second, and I will get to the fight and explain it in a second.
I have
almost-
many,
That gives us no
many
time to
ways.
compose ourselves.
So wait, we're supposed to
Take a minute.
start the fight after taking fall damage?
And you take like 10% fall damage if if the boss hasn't been engaged.
interesting. We're going to drop into a hole in which there is no return.
Yeah, with a giant lobster mosquito.
I love those shoulders, Foo.
Thank you.
1 second. Okay, everyone. This next boss fight is called Mithrax. He's a big, huge, like, old god dude. The main thing throughout this fight, the main mechanic is going to be something called Annihilation, and it comes from multiple different boss abilities. When you get Annihilation, it stacks, and each stack does, it reduces your max health by 1%, and it spawns something called Existence Fragments, which are like little blue orbs. Little blue orbs, they kind of remind me of like the monk chi thing, if you've seen it, if you played a monk. It's like that, but bigger. When you pick up a blue orb, it reduces 2 stacks of Annihilation. So you get Annihilation, it reduces your health, it spawns these fragments, you pick up a fragment, and it removes 2 stacks of Annihilation. The thing about Annihilation is that if you cause like little orbs to be spawned, other people can pick them up, including the tanks. The tanks are going to be dealing with something called Essence Shear. It's yet another cone attack. When they get hit, it prevents them from generating the fragments. So that's just kind of our tank swap thing. There's going to be a big, huge laser from the boss. It's called Obliteration Blast. You just need to dodge it. There's something called Imminent Ruin that debuffs multiple people, and it explodes after 12 seconds. You just need to take it out of the raid and make sure that no one is around you within 12 yards, I think. Because when it drops off, it will, I think, just damage them or something. Or no, it gives them Annihilation. So Imminent Ruin, you run out of the group and wait for it to fall off. Finally, the next thing to deal with is something called Oblivion Spheres. They're just big purple spheres that spawn, and they mind control 1 person each. It also applies Annihilation to them. When somebody gets mind controlled, you just need to push them out of the sphere to break it. And you can do that either by hitting them with like really fast, quick attacks, or you can do it by using an actual knockback spell. Phase 2 starts at 75%. The boss will be unattackable here. He takes 99% less damage. He channels something which does damage and applies it. It makes little mind control spheres spawn again. And then he does something called Visions of Madness, which is, again, another big laser beam that you just have to avoid. There's also going to be ads during this phase, and they do the same thing like that tanks already have to deal with, and just need to kill the ads.
Hello and welcome back to Fat Boss TV. Today
So
we're
he's
looking at the
kind
penultimate
of
boss in
simpler,
Uldir, which
more
is
simple
Mithrax
than
the
Zol.
Unraveler from BFA Beta Testing.
Really, it's
so this
just
encounter rotates between
making
2
sure
phases
you
every
don't have too many
25%
Annihilation
health
stacks so
until
that
the
you're
boss
at
is finally killed.
50% of your
the main
max
theme
health
of the
and die in
encounter
one
is
hit
to
from
dodge as
something.
many abilities as possible, primarily because of the Annihilation stacks.
In
Each time
phase
you're hit by a
2,
spell,
we
you'll
get
gain a
the
different
Naraki
amount of stacks,
destroyers in
depending on
normal,
what
right?
ability hit you. Each stack
I
reduces your
believe so,
maximum health
yeah.
pool by 1%.
Okay, I was just making
The
sure
majority of
because they
spells you
needed
can
to be
avoid, however,
tanked away
some you
from each
cannot.
other, or
This
else
acts as a
there's, like,
pseudo
some
enrage, as
big
eventually you'll
buff
die
that they
simply to
do.
having too small
Yeah,
of a
that's between
health
40
pool.
yards apart.
These stacks, however, can be
Each
removed
other
one
room.
by one using the existence
Okay,
fragments.
so we'll both pick one up.
Every time you gain Annihilation stack,
Also, during
these
this phase,
fragments will spawn
the
around you,
Naraki
typically for
destroyers,
half
the
the
things
amount
that
of
the
stacks
tanks
you
are
gain.
tanking,
So if you
they
used to gain 8
cast
stacks from being hit by an
Shadowbolt
ability,
Volley,
you'll
which
spawn
can
4 or
be
so
interrupted.
fragments.
So I'm guessing one
Each
of them
fragment
just
while we were
interrupt the
testing
volley when you
removed
get
only a single stack, but the Dungeon Journal was updated recently, and it does suggest that they're playing with the idea of removing 2 stacks for live.
Anyway,
with all of
I
that
know it's
explained,
difficult
let's jump
to
into
just
phase
listen
1
to
and see what we need
abilities
to
you
do.
can't see.
Now
So
there's
let's
2
get in
different
there and
abilities for
look
the
at it.
tanks to watch out for. Essence Shit is a 30-yard cone that deals a large
Just
amount of
drop a
damage
boulder on him.
on a single tank.
I'm down for
You
that.
could technically solo tank
I'm
this
gonna
fight,
fall over on
but
this
it would
side, the
require
side
you to
that he's
run
on.
all over the room to collect orbs,
Okay,
which
I'll
will
let-
force the
I'll let
boss
you
to
pick
move
him up
about all
first.
over the place, which isn't.
Okay, everyone's ready. Vabalus, do you have a pull timer?
I do, but it doesn't work. Hold on, let me test it out.
okay.
Let me test it out. See if anybody, don't do it, but let's see if anybody hears it.
Yep.
Yeah,
see it.
5,
Okay, cool.
4,
Awesome. All right, hold
3,
on. I'll do the next one
2,
after this one.
1.
Okay, don't jump in.
Let me eat some food first.
That was close.
5 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What have we lost?
Maybe when he gets out of the second phase. Okay, Oblivion Sphere's on Plague Reaper, not Beware.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Sphere on Balance.
3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
I'm not sure what was happening there.
Can't move for some reason.
Beware.
You're in the sphere, that's why.
3,
Well,
1.
Particularly good for DPS. They have, however, since the first test, changed the debuff to be 25 seconds long rather than 15 seconds long. To move about all over the place, which isn't particularly good for DPS. They have, however, since the first test, changed the debuff to be 25 seconds long rather than 15 seconds long. This will definitely force you to 2-tank the boss if they keep the timers the same.
Okay, is
the other
there
ability
any
for
way
the tanks
to
is Massive Claw, which for
despawn
some reason
those
isn't
Oblivion
listed in
spheres?
the Dungeon Journal. This is
I don't
just a
think
cast
so,
that
to
deals
the
a
next
shit
phase.
ton of damage to the tank, and as a result it is a good idea to have a
Yeah,
cooldown
just
up
kinda
for
have
each
to
time this
avoid 'em, I
ability
think.
comes in. However, provided
Anybody
you do a
else,
good enough
notice
job at
there's a
keeping their
transporter down
annihilation
there?
stacks as low as possible, this
I did not see. Maybe it leads to the next boss.
In the back. Life note
Oh,
2,
wait.
you're knocking people out of the sphere. Don't step
Go
in the
straight
circle
by
or you
Mother,
get
there's a
stuck in.
little wind thing that'll shoot you right down here instead of going around.
Ooh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, when people get mind controlled, you need to attack them.
You like?
Any hit will knock them back a little bit. and once they get knocked out of the circle, they're
much of
not
an
mind
issue.
controlled anymore.
For the raid to deal with is three abilities. First off is Oblivion Sphere.
Yeah,
These orbs
exactly.
spawn on random players, and for us, they even spawned on the tanks. These orbs charm all players within 5 yards of them instantly as they
Monks
spawn. Whilst charms, you take a small
specifically,
amount of
I don't know if you guys want to switch your talents, but the rushing Jade Wind knocks people out pretty easily. Not saying you should like tank your DPS for him, but I already have it, so it works for me.
Damage, but also gain 1 stack of annihilation per tick.
All right. Anybody else have any suggestions for this, or should we try it again?
Maybe try and, instead of spreading out all around the room, try and stay like in the middle, so it's easier DPS. Yeah, mind control that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if we stay too close, then there's going to be a bunch of people that get mind controlled on the one
Remove
orb.
the charm effect from players.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Is there any way that, like, can we place the orb?
The charm effect. We decided to have the raid, including the melee, spread more than 5 yards apart from one another, so only 2 people were hit by the orb's charm, and simply just rotated knockbacks to get those people out. Second up is the Imminent Ruin. This debuff is applied to 2 players, and it deals ticking damage over 12 seconds, whilst also progressively slowing that target. Once the debuff expires, it will deal drop-off damage to all players within 45 yards, and it will also apply 4 stacks of annihilation
sort
to
of
anyone
lining
within
up
12
behind the
yards.
boss, but
So the
not
key to
being
this
too
debuff
stacked.
is just to react as fast as you
somehow
can
try and do
and
that
get
just
far
to
away
keep
from
all
the
the
raid.
orbs.
We had each debuff
if they're
player
all
run
over
to
the place,
opposite
it's
sides
hard
of the
for
room,
melee to
and this seemed to
navigate
work well.
quickly to go
Lastly,
That,
in phase
and I
1,
noticed
the
towards
raid needs
the
to watch
end,
out for
we
the
knocked some of the
obliteration
players
wave.
out of the orbs
This ability is
into
cast
another
towards a
orb.
random player, and when the cast is finished, a large wave will fire off in that direction. Although the wave deals very little damage, it does apply 8 annihilation stacks. Now ideally you want to avoid this, however if the raid has been good with the Imminent Ruin debuffs, and if you've killed the spheres
What
off
about
quick enough,
maybe
there isn't
around
always
the
going to be
edges of the
enough
room,
fragments for your tanks
and
to
then when,
use. We opted to have
the
certain
orbs
players
come
get
out,
hit by this wave,
I don't know,
and
we could
towards the
knock
end of
them
the
out and
fight
then
we
just
even had
avoid them
large
and stack
amounts of the
around
raid
them.
get hit, so we
Never
spawned
mind,
an
that-
absolute ton of fragments
didn't
for the
think that would
tanks
work.
to use, so they could consistently have their annihilation stacks low. It's something that you do,
Okay,
however, need to find a
let's-
balance for, because if
Well,
you have
let's
too
just
much
wing
of
it.
the
Let's
raid
try
with
and
extremely
stack up somewhat in a straight line just behind the boss, but not on top of each other. Just to try to get the orbs to spawn toward the middle of the room.
Ideally, then, it's just the person behind you that'd be responsible for knocking you forward out of the orb, rather than everyone trying to be chaotic about it.
Alright, everybody's ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, try to get in somewhat of a line.
3, 2, 1.
Beware.
Wow.
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Cannot resist my call. Beware.
3. Oh my god.
1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Beware.
Also careful with your dodge on the mind control players.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Imminent Ruin needs to be run out.
Cannot resist my call. Beware.
3,
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
God damn it.
Beware.
3,
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
2,
Cannot
1.
escape the shadows. Beware.
3, blast.
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
2, 1.
You cannot resist my call.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the
3,
chopper!
2, 1.
Alright, phase 2. Let's follow as minute and just see how far we go. Alright, try to split DPS evenly on these ads.
Beware.
Guys, don't forget to pick up the little balls.
The void volley for these can't be interrupted.
Beware.
Okay, I think we've seen it. So it's white. This is phase 2. Once we get these 2 big ads down, it just goes back to the phase 1 and the whole fight repeats.
Beware.
One thing I forgot to mention, you can see them around the room right now. Those Vision of Madness, they need to be killed and interrupted.
I don't know. I feel bad for the poor person that was inside that sphere getting ping pong back and forth.
That's me.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
You think we
It
should
was
do
awesome.
one ad and then move on to the other ad, or do you want to split?
I think it's probably would be better to focus one ad. Okay, refresher for the little green orbs. Throughout the fight, we're getting annihilation stacks, which is again reducing our max health. When you pick up an orb, it removes 2 of those stacks. So if you're looking pretty high on the annihilation stacks, you should pick up a few orbs. If you're low on annihilation stacks, you don't need to go around sucking them all up for yourself, because we do have to share them.
Yeah, someone was at 40 stacks and second place was 20.
Oh my gosh. Another thing we need to look out for is that laser beam. It's getting people pretty frequently, but I haven't been calling it out because I miss it myself. It's the one called Obliteration Blast. It's, I think, 2-second cast time.
I was saying, you're just going to have to look at the boss and see which way he's facing to dodge it, too. There's no other indicator.
Yeah, if you notice the boss is facing the raid group, then he's about to shoot something at you. Alright, I might do 2 or 3 pulls left for the night, depending on how long they take.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rise.
3, 2, 1.
Cannot resist my call.
Beware.
Name 3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
2, 1.
As funny as that was, let's try to avoid the ping pong, guys.
Did you grab it?
Beware.
Name 3, 2, 1.
Sorry, no.
3, 2, 1.
Cannot resist my call.
Beware.
Name 3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
The shadows.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Cannot escape the shadows.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the
3,
chopper!
2, 1.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Escape the shadows.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Be res frost, please.
All right, that's coming up.
1.
Marked one with skull.
Beware.
Watch the leg beat.
Beware.
Kill the visions of that.
Beware. Beware. Beware.
My game sound is off for some reason. I don't know how I did it.
Probably Control S.
Nope.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so we must have to get him down by a certain time.
The shadows.
Beware.
You just take it.
3, 2, 1.
No.
Get to the chopper!
3,
Never mind.
2, 1.
Yeah, let's wipe and we'll do another.
Should we lost on that phase?
That might be good because when those ads come out with the mind flay, they're pretty difficult to take down.
I have many.
Do those mind play
lucky
ads
things
disappear when you're
coming
like
your way.
phases or back to the other phase or?
It looked like they stayed up.
Yeah, they stayed up.
Yeah. I don't know when the mind flays appear. It just kind of seemed like 20 seconds after the transition or something. Okay, and I think we need to set up like a strategy for knocking people out of the orbs. Because if one person is attacking someone from one side and the other's trying to get them from the other side, they're just ping-ponging around.
We just need to prioritize knockbacks instead of having multiple people casting.
It might be a good idea.
I would say I got one on a 40-second CD, so
You say I'm expected to Typhoon, so I can do it every 30 seconds. But yeah, so that I don't play a monk, so that circle that knocks things back, like that works.
Yeah. Has anybody tried Fear?
Probably.
That might be interesting.
Well, I mean, they're rooted in place, so Fear usually doesn't overturn that.
Also, one thing to keep in mind, to kind of help also try to spread out, is every time you take someone out of those spheres, we take raid-wide damage. So that ping pong, yeah, that's ripping our healer's mana, dude. That's why everyone's getting blown up, is because taking people out of those orbs That's why it's really important to spread and only get them out once.
Okay, Foo Fighters got a good idea. We can dedicate 1 to 2 people to focus on breaking people out. That way we're not having random people broken out and hitting the raid with damage. So, since warriors, are you fury or arms?
Arms.
Okay, well, I'm going to have you do it anyway. You're going to be one of the people breaking them out. And then I will have... someone with a knockback. Boom, you want to be the other one breaking people out?
Yeah, I can't. I really think we might need more than that because it happens more.
I was to say,
often than that.
if you've just got one person attacking and then one person with a knockback, I can sub in every other turn with a knockback for Boom.
Can DK grip?
Yeah, a grip would probably work.
I haven't tried it.
It doesn't break root, does it?
Yeah, I don't think it does. I wonder if it would work just in this specific case. It might be worth a try, but
I mean,
otherwise we'll have to have someone
don't
else.
warlocks have a knockback they can spec into, either I think through their pet.
I know Succubus used to do it. That was like Wrath. Okay, we have Bigglesworth who can do the Druid one. Boomtree can do one. I just picked up the Monk one. Who else has a knockback
I've got one.
at this moment? Okay, Everlana can do one. Anyone else with a knockback?
I'll try my grip.
Okay, we'll have Moisty try grip. And then if we have no knockbacks, we'll just have somebody try and focus on taking them out. If there's someone trying to get someone out, let them do it. We don't need 2 people on the same circle knocking them around. Alright, last try for the night.
Shout action.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1.
Beware.
3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
2, 1.
Escape the shadows.
Beware. 3, 2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Yourself to the plane.
Beware.
Get me up.
2, 1.
Get to the chopper! You cannot escape. Yourself to the plane.
Beware.
3,
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Cannot run from destruction.
If you've got a pet, make sure they're not on people in the mind control.
Beware.
3,
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
Get Arolana, please.
Beware.
Not a battle. 3,
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Run from destruction.
Beware.
3,
2, 1.
Get to the chopper!
3, 2, 1.
Yourself to the plane.
3, 2, 1.
Skulls marked.
Beware.
Take both of these.
The volley can be interrupted, Gus.
Beware.
All right. That'll be the last one for the night. All in all, we did pretty well. We got 6 of 8 bosses down. So I'm ready to come back in next Tuesday and hopefully get back to Mithrax as quickly as possible now that we know how the bosses work.
Okay, so we're resetting. We're not going to extend.
Yeah, probably reset because we want to get as much loot as we can and hopefully have more gear for Mithrax and Zool.
Anyone gonna do any mythics or mythic pluses?
I'm actually, if you don't mind taking a slightly undergeared tank up for doing some mythic heroes.
How about mythic -1?
Like you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
in other words, heroic.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll get back there Tuesday and hopefully get the rest of the raid cleared.
Yeah, good raid.
It's been swell. It's been grand.
Oi, they fight!
Hello.
Hello. Wasn't so bad. It was funner. How do you do that name change thing in Guild? Or your note change?
Like this?